Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I just thought I'd bring you in here right quick. Sure enough, as I said before, I've been having AC trouble on this 4840. I put a new high pressure line on, I put a new compressor on this thing, and tried charging it yesterday and still no cold air. And from what I can tell, according to my gauges, the expansion valve has gotten plugged up there on top of the cab. I talked to a neighbor of mine last night who's real handy with all kinds of mechanic stuff, and he said that's what he said. It's actually not too uncommon. And when this high pressure line blew out, he said what could have happened, because when I first tried to charge the AC, I got a little bit of cold air, but not much. And he said what could have happened is the expansion valve could have been restricted, and then quite possibly something in the receiver dryer, some of that desiccant, which I've actually had happen on our sprayer here a couple years ago. Those little round beads, those little desiccant beads that absorb moisture, broke loose out of the dryer, went right up and plugged the expansion valve. He said what could have happened was the valve could have plugged off more, which caused the high pressure line here to blow out. And so now I got the fun job of jumping up on top here and trying to get this dumb hood opened up. And if I remember, I think I actually did some videos last year on it. When I popped the top of the cab up on the 4955, which is sitting back that way, to put a new fan motor, because the fan motor burned up on me. Well, the fun thing that happens is back here at the back of the top piece, up here on front, there's 3 screws that hold the front down. You got these 2 bolts on each side over here. You pop them out. Back here at the back, it's almost like a car hood type of hinge. Well, it's not like it gets used a whole lot, and so they're kind of froze up. Now I gotta try and not fall off here. I'm not too sure how well you're going to be able to see down through there, but yeah, I've got to try and stick a pry bar back in there and try and get that thing pried up. So that's what I'm trying to work on. Try and get a little of this good old seafoam deep creep shot up underneath there on that little scissor hinge. Okay, I did get the bottom part of that one to move. Now I'm going to jump around on the other side and see if I can begin to get that one to move. Well, trying to get that scissor part to work right in there is easier said than done. It's kind of hard to see much on camera. You can kind of see it, that area right there, it's so dark back there. But yeah, that's why I'm trying to get broke loose and freed up. That way I can actually let the top pivot up, and then I can access the expansion valve up underneath here. Got the back corners freed up, so this thing lifts up about like a car hood. There we go. All right, that's got him up finally. I can tell somebody's been in here before. In fact, I'm actually surprised that they just didn't use little bolts like that. It's a whole lot better. Well, grab my impact. Well, Pop these out. Huh. Well, that one just popped, that came out on its own. But I can get these, looks like there's about 3, looks like 7/16 bolt heads right there. 4, I guess. 2 here and 2 over on that corner. All the rest are little screws. And then grab a screwdriver and get these here popped out, and that top piece will lift off. And then that should allow me access directly to the expansion valve. Got my fat head Phillips screwdriver. Thankfully that wasn't real tight. Like I say, I can see where somebody's taking these out because they've let their screwdriver jump. You can see how it's kind of chewed up right there. But I kind of wonder, on the old compressor right down there, it said May 2011. And it was actually done by a local John Deere dealership because they had written their name on it. But I kind of wonder if when they put that new compressor on back in 2011, there's no, either loose or it's stripped out. But I kind of wonder if they might not have been up in here working at that time. Taking out the last little screw here, and I'll grab my impact and pop those 4 little bolts out there on the front, and this top piece here will be ready to come off. And just looking, these here are the 2 heater hoses coming up over there on that side. I don't know how well you can see it, but those 2 hoses are the AC lines. So I'll grab my impact and looks like a 7/16 socket, pop them out, and this top piece here will be ready to come off. There's what it looks like from the ground. Got the top popped in the air. All right, I got these last 4 bolts out. Let's pull this cover off. Okay, there's the condenser. There we are. I'll take and set this on the ground. A little dusty. Okay, let's see. Here is the high pressure line coming in, and right there it is, kind of hiding down below. Yeah, there's the expansion valve. This little guy right beneath there, you can see a little bit of an arrow. Yeah, right here he is. In fact, here where the line comes in, I see it's got this little removable piece. That way you can access it better. Because the Freon comes up, goes through the expansion valve, into the coil, then back out the top, and out the low pressure line over here. Now I just gotta get some wrenches and try and get that broke loose and see what I can find. Got my wrenches here. Let's see what we can do. Hopefully you can see that halfway decent. Now I just got that side broke loose. Actually, it's a little bit bigger. Yep. Still bigger. Huh. Well, that's odd. It almost acts like it's a metric. That bigger jam nut is a 3/4. Well, evidently not. It was 3/4 on the opposite side. They've jumped up a size. I'm gonna have to grab a different wrench. Got me some metrics and some bigger standards. Okay, a 7/8 on the big one. Okay, I got that one hooked in. That's kind of odd. 16mm is loose, and 5/8 is still loose. Although 5/8 does seem to grip a little bit better. That does not want to come loose. Well, let me try something here right quick. Let me take this one side off and just take a look down in there and see what it looks like. Just grabbed a can of ether. That way I can able to take and clean that fitting up. Well, I don't see anything in there. Looks clean from this side. I just may have to end up putting a new expansion valve in. Just got the expansion valve pulled out and trying to get that flange nut off. It's really tight down there. It's hard to film it because you're trying to work up underneath here, and I kept wanting to hit the camera here on the hood. But unlike when I had trouble on the sprayer, where I could see that those desiccant beads down in there, there's nothing. And so, in fact, maybe somebody could tell me in the comments. I'm not exactly sure what these little wires do, but I'm assuming it like activates the valve. And I kind of wonder if the valve itself just hasn't gone bad. So I'm going to get a new valve and put into it. Thankfully, I called the John Deere dealership, and he said he's got 5 of them on hand. So I'll get a new valve picked up and see if that'll do the trick. All right, I'm pulling in up here at the John Deere place. I'm going to run in, grab my new expansion valve, and I should be ready to roll. So I'll see you back down at the shed when hopefully I can get it put in and I'll have cold air. Well, I'm back from the John Deere place, and I am working on getting these O-rings. I just got that right there on, hopefully you can see it, that new O-ring. And I'm going to put a new O-ring on this right here on the high pressure line. Okay, them's the 2 old ones. Okay, there's the new small one. Now, it is kind of tricky to film underneath here because I'm trying to work underneath this hood top. And so I'm always wanting to smack my camera on that thing. But we'll see what we can do. I want to get this. I'm trying to hold the camera with one hand. There we go. Get the O-ring popped on with the other. Okay. I got that. In fact, what I always do is I'll take a little bit of this oil, kind of oil them up. It helps them to seal a little bit better. Good old Ester 100. There we go. That just helps it to seal up better. Okay, here's the new expansion valve. This part here looks just a little bit different, but they told me that I guess John Deere's kind of subbed that up a few times, but it should do the trick. And like I say, here's the tricky part, trying to get in here and film without constantly whacking my phone on the top. I get these lines all straightened out. Because this piece here is going to go around and tie into that right there on that port. Which actually there's plenty of room out there, so it can just stick right out in the open. And this one here, kind of play with until I can get it set just right. Hopefully you can see that halfway decent. Okay, there we go. Okay, that part butted up correctly. Now, hopefully the threads match. Okay, I think the threads have started. And that dumb wire keeps wanting to hook the camera. And now comes the fun job, getting that, trying to get that all threaded back on. $17 millimeters, yet too much slop. There we go, that's better. Okay, I finally got this little fitting tightened up. That thing went hard all the way down. So I got this little wire here tied into that port. In fact, I would be curious if somebody knows what's that little wire doing. I'm almost wondering if it doesn't have something to do with activating and opening that expansion valve. But I would be curious. Okay. This here's the high pressure line coming in. There we go. Now that fitting went on easy. If I remember right, that's a 3/4. Okay, tighten that one up. There we go. Now the fun part is getting that little donut ring popped in there. Like that. Okay, that'll work. Now I just gotta get this little wire bent around. And pinched in up on top, like so. Okay, that's what the old one was. Just clamped up on top like that. So, like I said, I'm not exactly sure what all that thing does in there. But hopefully it'll work. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and probably go ahead and pull a vacuum and see, make sure I don't have, check the system and that kind of stuff, and I may go ahead and try and charge it before I put the whole top down, that kind of stuff, since I've already got it all open. I'll show you right quick what I do to vac this system out. This here's the vac pump. And you always take and pull a vacuum on both the high and low pressure side. Go ahead and hook this up. Then you want to take and open up both of these high and low valves. There we are. Now you'll notice here on the high pressure, it just stays at 0. Here on the low pressure, you'll see it's got that, it's at 0, then it'll pull down into the negative, which means you're pulling a vacuum. And so I'm going to take, I think I'm ready to go. Oh, would help if I opened up that knob. Okay, we're all tightened down. Now, just watch that low pressure gauge and you'll see it pulling down. There it goes. It don't go real fast, but it's best if you can pull it down to anywhere from a 26 to almost a 30-pound vacuum. Because when you pull a vacuum like that, it causes everything inside to boil. Kind of like if you pull a vacuum with water, it'll boil at room temperature because of the vacuum pull on it. And that's the same principle. Any moisture, and since I had all the lines opened up and that kind of stuff, you want to take and pull all that, any moisture and that kind of stuff out of it. We're down to right at about a 20-pound vacuum right now. So I'm going to let that sit and run for probably at least a good half hour before I try to go and put any Freon into it. Just hooked up the tank here. And as you can see, it's come up to right at about 50 pounds on the high side. About 45 or so on the low pressure side. And it's actually done flowing in on its own, so I'm going to take and start the tractor up and kick the thing in, and we'll see what happens. I'll take and show you here right quick. A little trick I do. In fact, the guy that taught me air conditioning told me this. take and take a little thermometer like that right there. That's just one of the little thermometers you can pull out. Stick in the air vent. Now if I can get it back in there. There we go. I actually need to check the outside temperature. Get the kind of focus right there. Right there, it's showing right in the upper 50s, and it's actually warmer than that outside. But I'll check outside temperature. But if you can get it to pull anywhere from 20, or roughly about anywhere from 20 to 30 degrees below outside temperature, that's perfect. I think about the ultimate that I've ever gotten was actually on the combines, and I've actually gotten them to pull down 40 degrees. 80 degrees outside, and I've had 40 degree air coming out of these things. And so that's a good system. But I'm going to start the tractor and see what happens. Okay, let me show you. Not too sure how well you can see that. But right now we are at about, I just checked the thermometer, and we're sitting at about 62 degrees outside, and that little thermometer is reading right at about 38 degrees. Ice cold air. Go ahead and shut that off. In fact, I even had, you can still see a little bit of frost. It's beginning to melt. That's all sweating right there. But the guy that taught me AC told me, he said if your low pressure slide right there on the compressor, it either sweats or frosts up, he said that means you got a good system. It's running good. And it was actually all white with frost before I shut the tractor off. And so I'm just going to take and unhook my high pressure side here. I will go ahead and put the hood down. I'm not going to bother trying to video all that. You saw me lift it up basically, and it goes down the same way. And so this has been some basic things that I do to work on AC. So I'm going to call that an end to this video. So take care. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.